There's an interesting article in CBS News that's making the rounds today. It talks about how AI can already do the work of about 12% of America's workforce. And it quotes an MIT researcher's finding and the study from MIT that talks about how artificial intelligence can do the work currently performed by nearly 12% of America's workforce. And the researchers are relying on a metric called the Iceberg Index that measures the job potentials to be automated. And they conclude that AI already has cognitive and technical capability to handle a range of tasks in technology, finance, healthcare, and professional services. And they study an index that simulated how more than 150 million US workers across nearly 1,000 occupations interact and overlap with AI's capabilities. Now, specifically, it measures the exposure to AI capabilities and how rapidly emerging technology overlaps with workers' occupations and skills. So the Iceberg Index, developed by MIT and Oak Ridge National Laboratory, measures workforce exposure across artificial intelligence, across the US economy, revealing that AI can technically perform about 11.7% of tasks across occupations, equating to approximately $1.2 trillion in wages. And unlike traditional forecasts that focus only on visible AI adoption in tech roles, the index captures broader and less obvious impact of cognitive automation. Now, the study highlights that the AI's influence extends beyond the surface where tech adoption is visible, identifying a hidden workforce disruption. Now, the study was conducted by Ayush Chopra, Bhattacharya, and a slew of other authors. Now, while the article is interesting based on some data, let's look at what really it means and the implications. And it's not as obvious as they make it sound. So, if we are reading between the lines, let's look at the world behind the jargon. The key takeaway is that these figures aren't measuring workforce replacement, but rather task replacement. So what it means is a typical worker, white collar worker or an office worker has a series of tasks that he or she is trained to perform, is qualified to perform, and has experience in. And those are the tasks that are expected to be performed. Now, replacing the tasks, individual tasks, is a set of automations that's already starting to happen, and that gives you productivity gain. But that doesn't mean the sum total of a worker's tasks are collectively or entirely replaced. So they aren't saying that AI can replace 12% of the workforce. What they are saying is AI can replace 12% of the work performed and the associated wages and values and expected impacts, which can be diverse. This conclusion at the end by stating that workforce displacement isn't going to happen by AI so much as by decision makers in government and enterprise. So, bottom line, it is entirely possible to amplify the productivity and the output using AI, automation, and these technologies. But it doesn't mean an individual can completely be replaced because an individual does a series of tasks that come together in conclusion to meet a certain requirement. So we are not there yet. And that is why it is important to read between the lines. It's not really about replacing 12% of America's workforce, as the clickbait title claims, but it is rather about replacing 12% of the tasks that can be done by workers.